Hi everyone. So today we are starting with the first chapter of logical reasoning, which is family relationship. Now these kind of questions you might have seen during your school days definitely. Uh, but here we are going to look at them with a very different perspective. So the motive is very clear. We are not supposed to represent the entire family tree. We will only try and represent the information which is given, and to avoid the complications between the data or the confusion between the data, we are going to make use of some symbols so that representation or solving part remains very simple and easy. So as you can clearly see, this is how a typical family tree would look like. So the topmost generation is the grandparents generation. A generation after that is basically our parents, uncle and aunt, and the third and the bottommost generation is we all kids. Now the first representation that we are supposed to look is going to be a gender specific representation. So all the male characters, if you come across any, henceforth will be represented by a square block, and all the female characters will be represented by the circle. So these are going to be certain types of representation, the symbolic representation that we have to learn. Now before we go for the next representation, let's look at a very simple question. So this is the question, as you all can see on the screen. Anand is Falguni's grandfather. How is Falguni related to Anand? Now when you think about this, I am very sure that most of you would have already got the answer, which is granddaughter. Now the thing that we are supposed to be careful when it comes to family relationship is this, that we are not supposed to assume the gender based on the names. Now what does that mean? Now for example, when I hear this name Anand, only a male character pops in my head. When I hear this name Falguni, only a female character pops in my head. But this is what exactly we are supposed to avoid. So there are going to be certain 3-4 rules that we are going to study in the entire journey, so that you would not make the very simple errors that the examiner is expecting you to make. So the rule is very clear, which is do not assume the gender based on the name. Now why so? So let's do one very small change. Instead of these names that Anand and Falguni, let's replace them with something as generic as, let's say, X and Y. So now the question is, X is Y's grandfather. How is Y related to X? Now can you uniquely find out the answer? I think not, because you don't know the gender of Y, and hence the rule that we are talking about. So let me repeat it one more time and remember this, so that we can make a note out of this, which is do not assume the gender based on the names. Okay, so moving on to the next basic representation, which is parent-child relationship. So basically it is separated by a vertical line in them, and in that also we can have some gender specific representation. The first one being this one, which is father and son. So a father is a top person, and vertical line denotes that there is a generation gap, and the bottom person is his son, and because both are male, so both are represented by the square block. Next one, father and daughter, that is male and female. One after that is mother and son, so mother, lady, female, and square is her son. And lastly, mother and daughter, so both are female, and hence circle. Last of the second last of the basic representation, sorry, is basically siblings. Now when I talk about siblings, there's no generation gap as such, because they are of more or less same age category. So they are separated by a horizontal line like this. And again, as usual, we can have the gender specific representation. The first one is brother and sister. So brother is male, so square block. Sister is female, so circle. And two brothers, both are square blocks. And lastly, two sisters, both are females, so both are circles and separated by a horizontal line. Last of the basic representation, which is couple, and ironically they are represented by a cross, or they are separated by a cross between them, something like this. And also there's one more rule that you will have to follow strictly in family relationship, which is a male can only marry a female, and cross will denote that they are a couple. Okay, now before we start solving the questions, there's one more easy question that you may look at it. So this one is the question. So please pause the video right now and read the question. Okay, so question is, A is aunt of B. How is A related to B's mother? Now let's start representing this, and we have to make use of all the basic relationships that we have seen so far. The first one, A is aunt of B, so she's female, and B, there's nothing mentioned as such about B's gender, so let's not assign anything. And there's going to be multiple possibilities here based on the Indian version of this word aunt. So four possibilities to be very specific. Let's see the easy possibility first, which is this one. So as you can see, this is B. Above that, B is mom, so circle is female, and A is her sister. So A is aunt of B, basically Masi wala case. And the question that they asked was this, that how is A related to B's mother? You clearly see that A is related to B's mother as sister. But as I have told you earlier that there might be many more possibilities of this word, which is aunt. Let's see another one of them. So this is B. This is B's mom. This is B's mom's brother. So basically B is uncle, and A is his wife. Okay, so basically this is mami wala scenario. And again, if you want to answer that how is A related to B's mother, as you can clearly see, now the answer will change, and the answer is sister-in-law. Next, it is A is aunt of B. Third one, this is B. This is B's mom. This is B's mom's husband, that is B's dad, basically B's father, and A is his sister, basically Bua wala case. Still A is aunt of B. And again, if we want to answer that how is A related to B's mother, again the answer is sister-in-law. The fourth possibility, A is aunt of B, has to be what? Chachi. So let's say this is B. This is B's mom. B's dad. He has a brother, and this is A, which is again auntie or aunt, as you can see. Basically this is chachi wala scenario. And now if I still A is aunt of B, and if I still want to find out the relation that how is A related to B's mother, again the answer has to be sister-in-law. So basically what is happening here is that one possibility, Masi wala possibility to be specific, is giving you one answer as sister, whereas the other three possibilities, which is Mami, Chachi, and these three are giving you the answer as sister-in. Technically, in such scenarios, the answer cannot be determined because we are getting multiple possibilities. Now, the whole learning or the significance of this question is to make you understand one very, very important rule that you will have to remember going forward as well when you are solving the questions on family relationship, which is try and represent all the possible relationship, because A is aunt of B has four variation. One of them is giving you different answer, another giving you different answer. So to be able to understand and answer the question properly, you need to always think a little harder and always think of other scenarios as well. And hence, this is going to be another rule that you have to remember, which is try and represent all the possible relationships. Now we are starting with the first question. So please pause this video right now, read the question. So let's see the solution. Now the rules are very simple. We have to make use of the basic representations that we have learned earlier in the couple of videos, and the second part, which is don't represent the entire family tree, only represent the information which is given in the question, and try and break the question in small portions. So let's look at the first representation. So Varun is the son of Tarun. So Varun is the son, so he is male. Something like this we can represent that part. And then Sunita is the daughter of Anita and Umang's son. So this tells us that Anita and Umang's son are married and they have a daughter which is Sunita. So something like this. So as you can clearly see, Sunita is a daughter, so she is a female. She is a daughter of Anita and Umang's son. Okay. The next one is this: Ramesh is Sunita's mother-in-law's son. Now if you read this, they have twisted it very nicely that Ramesh is Sunita's mother-in-law's son. So when you think about this, you will come to know that basically Ramesh and Sunita are married. They are husband and wife. So that Ramesh is Sunita's mother-in-law's son. So as you can see, cross is couple. So Ramesh and Sunita are married and Sunita's mother-in-law's son is Ramesh. So they are husband and wife. But this should also tell you that there can be another possibility as well, because here we don't know for sure that how many kids that Sunita's mother-in-law is having actually. Because if she has two sons, Sunita's mother-in-law, then Ramesh and Sunita may not be married, because then that means Ramesh can be Sunita's husband's brother as well, you know. So we'll see that possibility later on, but this is the easy possibility where Ramesh and Sunita are married. Okay, now last statement: if Umang has only one son, Tarun. So basically now what is going to happen is Umang has only one son, Tarun. So here at this place Tarun should come technically. Okay, so let's see how that will turn out to be. So as we can see, Tarun is there. Tarun already has a son who's Varun, and now all we have to do is combine everything together as one family tree. So let's do that as well. So when we try and combine everything as one family tree, this is what will happen. So, and the question was, how is Ramesh related to Varun? So if you can figure it out, the answer should be brother-in-law. So Ramesh is brother-in-law of Varun. But this is just only one possibility where Ramesh and Sunita are married. We don't know, because there might be another possibility as well, as we have discussed earlier, which is Ramesh is not Sunita's husband, but Sunita's husband's brother. So only that particular change here at the bottom, as you can see, rest everything remains the same. So if husband is brother-in-law, then husband's brother is also brother-in-law only. So even though we are having two different possibilities, but fortunately answer is not changing, so answer remains the same, which is brother-in-law. I hope you have got this. If you have not got this, please pause this video and watch it one more time, and I'm very sure you will understand it definitely. So this is how you are supposed to make use of the basic representation and eventually combine everything. Okay, moving on to the next question. So the next two questions, so second question to be specific, again please pause this video, read it one more time and try and answer. Okay, so after looking at a woman's photograph, Anjali said, "This woman's mother is my mother's daughter." How is Anjali related to the women in a photograph? Now, always make sure this check, which is very simple. Anjali is related to the women in a photograph. So Anjali's relationship, we have to figure it out. And if you read the question very thoroughly, you would understand that nowhere they have given Anjali's gender, or neither we can find it out indirectly from any of the datas. So the answer to this is straight away going to be cannot be determined, because we already know the rule that we are not allowed to assume the gender based on the name. So no need to solve this. This is going to be your 5-second trick if you know the rule and if you can apply it when it matters the most. So we don't know Anjali's gender. Answer is cannot be determined. So let's have a look at the next question. So the question says, a family of 8 people, 5 male and 3 females, and they are extending the generation. So please pause this video right now and read the question very thoroughly, and then we'll see how we are supposed to go about this. So let's start with the representation part. First statement, Q has 1 daughter and 2 sons, with only 1 son married and having children. Good part that we already know the gender of everybody, which is given in the original data itself. So let's look at the statement. Q has 1 daughter. So as you can see, Q is so square block. He has 1 daughter and 2 sons, out of which only 1 son is married. Second statement, V is S's mother. Now this can be either Q's wife beside him, or can be this married lady who is having children. So we don't know right now who is V, and hence let's represent it outside, and later on we'll combine it with the original figure. S's mother. Again, we both know the gender of both of them. Third and statement, and this is going to be the decider because this will sort out everything. So the statement is U is grandmother, so she's female by default, and because already we know that the family is extending to 3 generations, so this tells us that U has to be in the topmost generation, that is U has to be Q's wife basically. Only then she can be the grandmother, and grandmother, that means R definitely becomes the grandson. So something like this. And now all we have to do, because there is no further data available, all we have to do is combine everything based on the common sense. So V is S's mother, so she already has a kid, and we have 2 female opened, one on the left hand side, one on the right hand side. So V has to be there on the right hand side, something like this, because she is married, this lady, and she already has a kid. And there were only 3 females, so the third female, which is W, it should go on the leftmost side, something like this. And we are left with 2 more positions, and both are males, fortunately. And if you can see who else is remaining that is yet to be represented, which is N and T. So always have this habit of representing all possibilities, something like this, because right now you may not realize the importance of this, because even though both are males, how does it matter which one is who? But it actually does matter, because let's say the questions are related to something like, let's say, who's V's husband, then we cannot be always sure that either it is P or T 100%, right? So there's a possibility, there's a scope for the other person to be equally be the husband, and hence we don't know that. Let's not assume anything. We'll always have a habit of representing the multiple shapes. So this is how it would look like. Now let's look at the questions as well based on this. So the first question based on this is this: how is W related to S? So W is lady, of course, and S, as you can see from the final diagram, she has to be aunt of S. So answer is aunt, which is answer 2. Second question that we have based on this particular set is how is R related to S? And again, if final diagram that we have made, you can clearly see that they two are siblings, basically brother, because we know the gender, which is male. So R is S is brother. That is the answer, option 3. And next question, who is S's father? So now see, this is what exactly I was trying to tell you in the last part of the diagram. We cannot be sure that whether it's P or whether it is T, hence answer cannot be determined because we don't know for sure which one is out of them. So this is the multiple possibility. I hope you have understood this set. Let's look at the next question, which is again a very simple question. So again, let me ask you to do the same thing. Pause this video right now, go through the question, read the question very carefully, and then come back to this. So pointing to Sudhir in a photograph, Rima said, his brother's father is the only son of my grandfather. How is Rima Sudhir? Now again, we should always perform this check. We have to figure out Rima's relation with Sudhir, and if you again read the question very carefully, nowhere they have given Rima's gender, if you can figure that out. So by default, answer has to be cannot be. Determine one more time. So this is very, very similar to the question that we have already seen, which was that Anjali's question. Same thing has happened here as well. We don't know the gender of Rima, like we didn't know the gender of Anjali. So similar rule, the first rule that we have studied, let's not assume any gender based on the name. So answer has to be cannot be determined straight away. Thank you. To see. So pause the video, read the question, and we can see the solution. Okay, so question is 7 members are there in the family, out of which 2 are women. Now we know which 2 out of those 7 are female. So let's see how we are supposed to go about it. So first statement, let's try representing that as usual, sticking to the process that we have been following. So H has 2 unmarried sons and a daughter who is married. So the thing is, we don't know the gender of H. We don't know which 2 unmarried sons that they are talking about, and also there's a daughter, so female, who is married. She has a husband. So let's see. So has 2 unmarried sons to be specific, 1 daughter who is married. This is the first data. Second statement is actually slightly very important. So if we can read the sentence, it says that S is K's mother-in-law. S is K's mother-in-law. So this is the diagram that we have. Now what is going to happen is there are going to be 2 possibilities which will be exist. Now based on who is K. So K can be the girl who is married, or K can be the guy who is married to that girl, her husband basically. So something like this. So let's consider the first possibility. We know the statement, which is S is K's mother-in-law. So if we assume that the K is the guy, so K is the guy and S is his mother-in-law. So she becomes mother-in-law, that means she is a female. That means H and S are married automatically. And if K is the girl that we are talking about, so something like this, there is that another possibility. So K is the girl and S is her mother-in-law. That means her husband's mom. Now, what has happened here is, if you can see from both the possibilities, in specifically possibility number 2, the relationship has gone to the other side of the family, as you can see. And this is going to give us another very important but the crucial rule, which is that in-laws are not part of the family. Now, basically, what you have to always understand is that whenever you come across any data to the family relationship question, always remember that the data should always be given for family only, because it cannot be for the combination of 2-3 families. And that is why you have to stick to this rule, because it is going to make your job easier and avoid the unnecessary multiple possibilities. So hence we are supposed to ignore this possibility, because as you can clearly see that the relationship has gone to the other side of the family, and we are supposed to stick to the original possibility. Let's look at the third and the last statement. L is T's son who is unmarried. So L is T's son. So T has a son who is L. Now if you can look at the diagram, as you can clearly see that there's only one married person left out, the female, the K's wife, basically on the right side of the diagram, the blue diagram that we are talking about. And L is T's son. So T has to be that lady and L is her son, something like this. We are still left with the two people, both are male, and again, as we have seen in the previous question as well, always have a habit of representing the multiple scenarios. So B and F, these are the two people who were left to be mentioned, or basically should be represented in the diagram. So this is how the final diagram would look like. Now, as usual, let's have a look at the questions based on this. So the first question that we are supposed to answer based on this is this, that how is F related to K? How is F related to K? So if you can look at the final diagram, whoever F is, basically the answer has to be brother-in-law, because both are male and both are brothers only. So it has to be brother-in-law. So F is related to K as brother-in-law. Second question, how is L related to H? So if you can see the diagram, H is basically in the topmost generation, L is basically in the bottommost generation. So L has to be grandson of H. So answer has to be answer option 2. So now if we want to recap the session very quickly or revise the session very quickly, the hidden rules that you are supposed to remember. Let me revise them one more time. So the first rule, do not assume any letters based on the name. Second rule, try and represent multiple possibilities, because you might get different answers. And third and the last possibility that this question has taught us, the golden rule, which is in-laws are not part of the family. If the relationship is going on the other side of the family, we are supposed to not include that possibility and stick with the original possibility. So these three rules, these three golden rules, and the basic representations that we have seen in the first class is going to be the key for solving the questions based on the family relationships. I hope you have understood this.
Moving to the next set, Tina, Meena, Dika, Chika, Pika, Rika are 6 brothers and sisters in a family. Rika is the youngest of them and has 3 brothers. Now Rika is youngest and Rika has 3 brothers. Meena is older than both her sister but younger than all her brothers. Now through second statement, we can definitely say that there are 3 sisters and 3 brothers, because it is said Meena is older than both her sister. Hence 3 are female and 3 are male. Also Rika is the youngest And Meena is older than both her sisters and younger than all her brothers. Pika is neither the oldest nor the youngest among the brothers, and Chika is one of his sisters. Ina is just elder to Meena. So let's try to fit in the information. First, it is known that Rika is the youngest and Meena is older than both her sisters but younger than all her brothers. So I'll leave three spaces for brothers, first three places for her brothers, and I'll write Meena over here. So Meena, Rika, and Chika are the sisters and the others are brothers. Further, it is known that Pika is not youngest, not eldest among the brothers. Hence, I'll write Pika in the middle. Then, it is said that Chika is one of his sisters. That means Chika will come at the fifth place. Ina is just elder to Meena. Just elder means I'll write Ina at 3 and the remaining person, that is Dika, at first. Hence, we are done with the set. Let's move to the questions. First question, who is eldest among the six? Dika is the answer. How many sisters does Chika have? Chika have two sisters. Who is just elder to Chika? Meena is just elder to Chika. Who is just younger to Pika? Ina is just younger to Pika. How many brothers are there in the family? There are three brothers in the family. Moving to the next set, a family comprises of 7 members. So these are the members. Dollar has only one child called question mark. X is question mark's aunt and daughter-in-law of minus. Plus and minus have two children who are married. Upper arrow sign has no kids and calls plus his father. X is hashtag's brother-in-law. X is hashtag's brother's wife. There is only one child in the third generation. So through the last statement, we can say that there are 3 generations. Now let's try to fit in the information. Firstly, it is known that dollar has only one child and dollar's child is question mark. Also, X is question mark's aunt and daughter-in-law of minus. So let's try to figure out all the possibilities that we have. Now there would be 4 possibilities. First, this is the possibility that X is sister of dollar. So we can say that X is aunt of question mark. Second, X is dollar's brother's wife. Dollar's brother's wife can also be called as aunt of question mark. Then, dollar is married to a person and that person's sister is X. Hence, we can say that X is aunt of question mark. And the fourth possibility is the last one, that is, dollar is married to a person, that person's brother, and his brother's wife is X. Hence, we can say that X is aunt of question mark. So these are the 4 possibilities. Now, it is also known that X is daughter-in-law of minus. Now, X is a daughter-in-law of minus. So we have to fit in the possibilities now. So if we try to fit in this possibility, we can say that first possibility is not possible. Why? Because X is daughter-in-law of minus. X is daughter-in-law of minus. So basically they are not in the same family. And first possibility is eliminated. Similarly, second possibility is also eliminated. And we are just left with the 2 possibilities. So these are the 2 possibilities that we have, and we'll try to find out the further statements or the further information given. Further, it is said that plus and minus have 2 children who are married. So through the statement, I can say that minus and plus are married and they have 2 children. So in this, in these two possibilities, we'll put it in this way. Upper arrow has no kids and calls plus his father. So through this statement, we can determine the gender of plus. Plus is father, hence plus is a male. So minus has to be a female. Now upper arrow has no kids. That means we can definitely deduce one thing, that upper arrow is married to X, because dollar has a child question mark. Hence, dollar's husband cannot be upper arrow sign. So upper arrow is married to X. Further, it is known that hashtag is a person, and it is said that hashtag's brother's wife is X. Hence, we can say that hashtag is X is hashtag's brother's wife. Hence, hashtag will come as dollar's spouse. Hashtag will come as dollar's spouse. Now, hashtag is X is hashtag's brother's wife. So we can definitely eliminate the first possibility because this statement is not satisfying in the first possibility. And second possibility is a definite possibility that we have. We don't know the gender of dollar, hashtag, and question mark. So we keep it as it is. Now we'll move to the questions. First question is, how is question mark related to plus? Now we don't know the gender of question mark, hence cannot be determined as the answer. Plus is question marks what? Now plus is question marks grandfather, because we know the gender of plus, hence plus is grandfather of question mark. Who is ex-husband? So ex-husband is option 3. Let's move to the next set. M and O, P, Q and R make a family of 3 generations of married couples. R and O are P's mother and daughter respectively. M is Q's father-in-law. So these are the only 2 conditions that we have. So let's try to make a family tree. Now, the very first statement says R and O are P's mother and daughter respectively. So this is how we'll plot them. Then M is Q's father-in-law. Now, we can take 2 possibilities over here. First possibility is M is married to P and they have a daughter O, and O is married to Q. Hence, we can say that M is Q's father-in-law. Second possibility is M is married to R, they have a child P, and P's spouse is Q. So we are following the condition. We are not going against any of the conditions. Hence, we can consider these 2 possibilities. In the second possibility, P's gender and Q's gender is not known, so we'll keep it blank. There's one more person, his name is N, so we'll fit in N as R's husband in first possibility and N as O's husband in second possibility. Hence, these are the 2 possibilities and we have to answer the questions accordingly. The first question of this set says, if P is M's daughter, then who is P's spouse? So we have to consider first, P is M's daughter. Hence, we have to consider second possibility, because only in second possibility we can say that M is father and M's child is P. It's a if question. That means we have to go according to the conditions given in the question. So P is M's daughter. Who is P's spouse? P's spouse is Q. So option 1. If P is M's daughter, then who is O's spouse? Again, second possibility, and O's spouse is N. It's a straightforward question. If Q is married to O, so first possibility, then R's son-in-law could be. So R's son-in-law could be N. If Q is O's spouse, which of the following are 2 generations apart? So 2 generations apart means we have to leave one generation between the two persons. We have to leave one generation between the two persons. So we have to consider the first possibility, and we can say that fourth option is the correct answer because Q and R are two generations apart. Basically, they have one generation between them. M cannot be married to. In both the possibilities, we can see that M is married to P and R, so M cannot be married to O. Moving to the next set, A, B, C, D, E, and F are two sets of triplets, not necessarily in the order given. Obviously, none of the six is married to a sibling or to someone of same sex. Four of the six are male and two are female. Neither set of triplets contain three siblings of the same sex. A and D are married to each other. B and E are brothers. Now we can say that there are two set of triplets. Also, the two set of triplets, according to the given conditions, could be two males and one female in each set of triplets. Two males and one female in each set of triplets. Also, A and D are married. That means they cannot come in a common triplet. B and E are brothers. Hence, B and E will come in a common triplet. Also, B and E both are male members. There are two possibilities. First possibility is A and D are married to each other. Hence, we don't know the gender. So we can take A as female and A as male. So the first possibility is A as female and D as male. Second possibility is A as male and D as female. Then it is said that B and E are brothers. So we'll put B and E in squares in common triplet. Then it is said that C and F are the remaining members. So we'll write C and F in this way. As we don't know their specific genders, we will put C/F in square and in circle in both the possibilities. Moving to the questions. Who cannot be brother and sister? Now F and E cannot be brother and sister because in both the possibilities, F and E are in two different set of triplets. If they are in two different set of triplets, in both the possibilities, they cannot be brothers and sisters. F must be a female if. So there's a correction in the third option. Third option says C is D's brother-in-law and third option is the answer. If C becomes D's brother-in-law, brother-in-law means C is a male member. So if C is a male member, we can easily find out that F is a female member. Hence option 3 is the answer. If E and F are married to each other, then which of the following statements can be true? Now E is a male member, so F has to be a female member. And if F is a female member, then C has to be a male member. So option 1 is the answer. Moving to the next question. Pointing to a photograph, Arun said, "She is the mother of my brother's son's wife's daughter." How is Arun related to that lady's husband? So, Arun said that in such type of questions, we have learned one thing that we'll start from my. Now, my means Arun because Arun is saying something. So, my refers to Arun. So, Arun's brother, brother's son, son's wife, wife's daughter. So, this is the family diagram that we'll draw. Now, she is the mother of my brother's son's wife's daughter. So daughter was the last part. So who is daughter's mother? So daughter's mother is wife. Hence, Arun is referring to wife. Now, it is further said that how is Arun related to that lady's husband? So who is that lady? So that lady is daughter's mother or Arun's brother's son's wife. Now we can say that Arun is How is Arun related to that lady's husband? Now, Arun is a male or female? We don't know that. Arun can be a male or Arun can be a female. So Arun can be uncle, Arun can be aunt. Data is not given regarding Arun's gender. So if we don't know Arun's gender, we will mark data inadequate as the answer. Thank you.